What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Footy with an Edge. We're back again to talk about Amorim and his system. I think people were probably bored of the Kobe Manu discussions, and so we're here talking about the system again. I mean, I guess the system was like the Kobe Manu discussion before the Kobe Manu discussion, right? Because we spent so long talking about the back three, about even the Pope couldn't make him change his system. But I guess somebody's gotten through to him because he has finally actually changed his system. And it wasn't really noticeable in the Bournemouth game. I'll just be honest with you guys. For me, it seemed very much like a three at the back at sometimes, and Euro was still kind of tucking inside a lot. So it didn't really visibly seem like very different because we've seen the 4-4-2 so many times, right? Outer Signal says, salutes. Our club is cooked, friend, says Demented Soul. Demented Soul, at least say hello first, bro, before we go into the before we go into the club being cooked. But Planned by Force says Joao Pino. Be Cool says, hey everyone, hey everybody. Let's give it a minute for everybody to be trickling in there. We've got 30 people watching right now. We'll have a few more joining us, but yeah. So this all started with the article by Laurie Whitwell, right? There was an article by Laurie Whitwell that came out. I think a day before the Bournemouth game. So let me summarize that for you guys here. I have it on my screen here. Give me 1 second. Right. So the Laurie Whitwell report says Amorim told the players before the Wolves game that a change is coming. The Wolves game was always planned as the final outing of the usual 3-4-3 system. Tactical evolution was discussed internally before Bournemouth. The system was under review because AFCON absences were looming, specifically in Mbumo, Ahmad, and Mazraoui. So they were worried about the right-hand side. I'm guessing this was the specific worry was around the Ahmad position, right? Because we don't have anybody of the same profile as Ahmad to play the wing-back role. The right side of the 3-4-2-1 was heavily dependent on those three profiles. Replacing their combined characteristics is extremely difficult. So the training ground evidence is that significant time was spent rehearsing a 4-3-3 shape in training. There was more focus on pressing schemes and defensive structure, and formation work was intentional, not reactive, right? So apparently it's because of AFCON that they decided that a change in formation was necessary. In Amorim's own words, he acknowledged that we needed to adapt the way we play. Again, this is probably because of AFCON. He spoke about finding different ways to take all the juice from the squad, so getting the best out of the players we do have available. And he stressed that the change must happen on his terms, not external pressure. And in terms of squad and availability factors, injuries to De Ligt and Maguire reduce our back three options. So that was one of the things. Only 3 fully fit center backs available in Heaven, Euro, and Luke Shaw. And then Šeško's fitness uncertainty adds another variable as well. And then Amorim framed the shift as planned rather than reactive. He wanted the players to understand it was not a response to Wolves, and change is coming from a position of strength, not from a position of panic. Bournemouth was used as a test case where it would be a different world. System change trialed in a real competitive setting, evidence of evolution rather than abandonment of principles. So, guys, what do we think about everything that we've just heard there? Is it just lip service, or do we actually think there's some merit to him changing the system on his own accord? Right? Let me just put some. Let me start a poll here. All right, let's get your thoughts, guys. Let's see what everyone's saying. Rishi says, hello, people. Hello, Rishi. Guys, we have a Stat Patters episode dropping today. After this live, I'm going to go finish editing it. We effectively shot it at 4 a.m. my time yesterday, is when I went to bed after shooting it. So it's an exciting episode, some spicy takes there. So we'll get that out for you guys. Be Cool says, I think the fourth at back was much more evident when Dallo went right back and Shaw went left back. Imran says, whatever Ruben is trying to do, I trust him. Fair enough. I agree. No psych 5666 says, I swear Man United fans are just learning how football works this season. The base formation does not tell you shape on the pitch across 90 minutes. I think Ammer's making a big mistake with the current available defenders. He can't play only two center backs. It'll be suicide. Forced by AFCON. We're not changing formation. Droid KP says, hello. Yes, smash the like button, guys. Imran says it's forced. Eamon says, hey all. Hey, Eamon. Nice to see you here. Devo says, hey, everyone. Hey, Devo. And I think that's all the comments right there. Jarvis is in the chat. Jarvis, big up. And yeah, Rishi says spicy episode. It was a change to please and shut up some fans. And Be Cool says hi to Rishi. Rishi says hi back. Okay, guys, here's my 2 cents on it. I think AFCON is the best explanation for changing the formation. I also think at some point you have to acknowledge that there needs to be a couple of ways to play. And this is what he said from the beginning, right? He has said that he will make the change when he thinks it's the right time. And so he has looked at AFCON as the right opportunity. And Nelson says it's forced. I think it's forced in the sense that the squad set up in the way it is with AFCON is forcing his hands a little bit, like, right? If we play a 4-4-2, by the way, I don't think it's a 4-4-3. I think it's 4-3-3. I think it's a 4-4-2 that he wants to play. And what we're going to see with AFCON is essentially Mount playing as the left midfielder, Dallo playing as the left back, Euro playing as the right back. We're going to have two center backs of Luke Shaw and Aiden Heaven. Sorry, guys. Still a little sleepy. But yeah, we're going to have Luke Shaw and Aiden Heaven as center backs. And the midfield two of Bruno and Casemiro. Then I think the right side is the question, right? Because in that game, Ahmad was actually playing as the right winger, the right midfielder, whatever you want to call it. It was either a 4-2-4 or a 4-4-2. And we need somebody in that Ahmad position because I think the two up top are going to be Cunha and Šeško now. I think Šeško is going to replace Mbumo's position. So it's going to be a 4-4-2 with Šeško and Cunha as the two strikers. The only question is who plays on the right-hand side. I honestly don't know who it's going to be because my bet would have been Shea Lacey, but Shea Lacey wasn't even on the bench for Bournemouth, I think. So I'm a little curious as to who it could be in that position. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have a thought on who it could be there. Let me just take a look at the squad. And United squad. Okay, if I look at the squad here, and we're looking at the forwards, we have Cheeto Obi, Joshua Zirkzee, Mason Mount. Dude, I can't find a single player here that could actually work unless this page is like not showing me all the players. Seriously, guys, I'm struggling to think who it could be if it's not Shea Lacey on that right-hand side. I guess he could put Bruno out there and play Mount and Kobe. Kobe and Ugarte in the midfield. Maybe Bruno plays on the right. That's the only thing I can think of. Dorgu right wing back, Dallo left wing back. Yeah, Dorgu could work, but then it's like, yeah, Dorgu's probably the shout. Dorgu is probably the best shout. Dallo's not going to move from the left-hand side, Jarvis. Dallo he wants a left-footed player to play on that side. or sorry, right-footed player on that side. But again, with the 4-4-2, not sure. Maybe he decides. Maybe he decides he wants to change it. Let me see some of the comments. Nelson got me heated yesterday. Is it the Kabi Meno discussion? He's evolving, as are the team. Narratives will be made in favor or against. Absolutely. ILJ 115 says the formation didn't change. It was adapted. Yep, I agree. How's that a 4-back? Licha's not ready. Heaven and Euro to green. Forced or not, just give us more tactical versatility as a team. We're still playing 3 nominal center backs in what you just described. Yeah, I agree. It's not a traditional back 4. I think it's evolution by necessity, but not forced. Nobody told him to do it. He would have to take a running jump if they did. So I think it forced in the sense the situation has forced his hand, right? Not forced in the sense that Jim Ratcliffe has had a meeting with him and said, "Listen, you better change it or else," right? Is Delict available for Villa game? I am not sure. I haven't heard anything about his return to fitness. Be Cool says I play Dorgu at right wing back, Dallo at left wing back. This might be what happens, right? It's not even a wing back anymore, is it? Because it's a left midfielder, right midfielder. But this is probably what's going to happen. And Dorgu is going to have to fill in for Ahmad while he's gone. That's the only thing that makes sense. How does a 4-4-2 or 4-3-3 solve Ahmad or Mbumo being gone? That doesn't make sense. So I think the idea is that maybe they don't trust anybody else to do some of the defensive work that Ahmad provides or be as attacking with Mbumo, because like Ahmad's defensive output happens more on the front foot, right? Ahmad is a much better presser than he is a tackler, whereas Dorgu is a much better tackler and much better duel winner than he is, let's say, going forward, or even from a pressing sense, because he doesn't read the game as well. So let's see. Dorgu right wing back, Dallo left wing back is probably the one that I would be looking at as well. Yeah, Lacey's the one that I'm not really sure about. Let's see. What's wrong with this fan base? What happened, bro? People are just noticing in-game shapes now because of it. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, listen, we've been playing a 4-4-2 all season. We've been playing a 5-4-1 all season. The only difference is that in this game, if we look at the average positions, right? Let's see, Man United average position versus Bournemouth. The average position does actually line up very much like a 4-2-4. Let me see. Hold on, if I can find this for you. Yeah. So we have the Athletic article here that explains it, and I'm gonna zoom in and open it up for you guys. Okay. Okay. So this is the starting average positions in the first half for the starting 11. And you see we kind of have a back 4 shape here with the 2 in midfield and then front 4. So this is what I mean by 4-4-2. And I think they would prefer Shea Lacey to come into this kind of position where he's more of an out-and-out winger, than have to be a little bit deeper where Ahmad usually is and have a bit more of the defensive work rate put on him as well. So I think this is the reason that people are saying he moved to a 4 at the back. I agree with No Psych that it's not really a big shift, right? It's not really a huge change. Trialed spelled wrong. Oh, okay. System change trailed in training. Okay, I'll fix it. I like the attention to detail. I will fix it right now. Let me do that. System change trialed. There you go, my friend. We can all breathe easy now. With that fixed. Yeah. 4-4-1-1. I mean, this looks like a 4-2-4 to me, or even like a 4-2-3-1. But I think it's going to be more of a 4-2-4 or 4-4-2. Nelson says it's a 4-4-1-1 or 4-2-3-1 wide. Yeah, I mean we can get into the FIFA formations, but I think in essence he wants to play like a four. He wants to play a 4-2-4 in attack and probably a 4-4-2 in defense, right? Which essentially means Mason Mount and Amad Diallo, they get forward when we're attacking and try to stay a little bit deeper when they're defending. And Crystal Palace also plays like this very similarly. And I think you're gonna have this type of interchange between Šeško and Cunha as well. In my opinion, Cunha is gonna have a very free role. So it is going to be more of a 4-2-3, and then Cunha just doing whatever he wants, right? So not really a 4-2-3-1. It's going to be a bit of a unique system. The only change I've really seen is that the left wing back drops a little bit deeper, and the right center back drops a little bit further forward. And that's where this change has come, right? Normally, you would have Dallo being a little bit further up here and Ahmad being a little bit further back here. And then these three would be a little bit more central. So it's not a big change in the system, right? It's not like, oh, he's completely abandoned his principles. No, it's very much how it used to be before. In fact, we're still seeing Luke Shaw and Dallo both step up a lot more. And that's what they did against Bournemouth as well, right? How many times did we see Luke Shaw? I covered this in my video after the game. We saw Luke Shaw actually drive from this position here all the way to midfield or above and operate from that type of an area. So it's a forced change in the sense that the personnel that he has in the squad are forcing his hand. I think we might see more of these changes come throughout the AFCON period because maybe 4-4-2 doesn't work or 4-2-4 doesn't work. And then he has to problem solve on the fly as well. I also think once we get more players, we will see a lot more changes and him be a lot more flexible in terms of what he can and can't do. What is Sean saying? There's also precedence in Portugal for him playing in this variation. Fair enough. Try it without the AFCON players. We have two best attacking midfielders in the league, and they both play at the wrong position. Are you talking about Mount and Bruno? Is that who you're talking about? Which lends credence to what he's been saying all along, start in the three variations throughout the game, depending on game state. Yeah, that's the thing, right? I mean, people are pretending like 4-4-2 has never been played before. Guys, 4-4-2 is one of the most common positions you'll see the team in throughout the whole season, especially off the ball. 5-4-1 and 4-4-2 are two positions we've seen all the time. So this is just a slight variation in the sense that the average positions are now tweaked, right? And in my opinion, the biggest reason he's doing this is because of the Amad Diallo position. I think Brian Mbeumo, you could play Mount in place of Mbeumo in a 3-4-3 and still kind of get away with it in terms of getting the same type of effort, same type of output. But this Amad Diallo role, we don't have anybody that can do it as well as Amad can. And that's the concern. So I think what we're going to see is we're going to see either Dorgu or Shea Lacey in this position where they have less of the defensive requirement and more of an attacking threat. And we're going to see Šeško play instead of Mbeumo. And that's going to be our system. Paulinho in Sporting played a lot of times as second striker with Gyökeres as striker. System we alter, no more complain. Yes, agreed. If I can recollect correctly, we did use 4-4-2 pressing structure before in some matches, so it's just fluid transition. Yeah, absolutely. This is right. Rishi says he gets so much shit for playing three center backs, and Arteta and Pep play four every week. No scrutiny there. Yeah. Yeah, Rishi says I think the change in this match is we played 4-4-2 with the ball too. Yeah, I think that's fair. Thanks, my brewer. Well explained. Keep it up. Yes, brother. That's what we're here to do. Okay, guys, we'll open up the lines for whoever wants to come have a chat. I'm gonna share the StreamYard link in the chat here and pin it for you guys. please come have a chat. I'm looking for some new faces today. Hopefully, you guys can be on camera as well because it always, you know, bodes for a better discussion. Maybe Bruno or Xerxes will play in Ahmad's place. The thing with Xerxes, man, I don't know if he has the pace for it. It might work better if Xerxes and Sheshko plays it too, and then we have Cunha play off the right. I think that might work better. So maybe we'll see that. Rishi's here to join us. Rishi, how you doing?
Doing good, brother. How are you?
Very good, very good. Did you have a productive day? Because I saw you only a few hours ago, and I'm
Yeah,
still
yeah, yeah.
sort
It
of
was
sleep.
a long day, but yeah, good now.
All
Can
right,
you hear me
awesome,
okay?
awesome.
Still got the
Yes, I
setup
can.
from the podcast up here, so I thought why not take it for a spin?
Yeah, why not? Why not? That's awesome. Cool. What do you think about the system, man? The formation being tweaked. Any other thoughts lingering from the Bournemouth game?
My only thought is what are we going to do the next match? Because so many uncertainties, right? I mean, the certainty is that you don't have Mazraoui, you don't have Mbumo, you don't have Ahmad. I don't know what he's going to do on that right side. You gave a shout for Dorgu out there. I don't think it's so straightforward. I don't think if we're playing a 4-4-2 or a 4-2-3-1, whatever you call it, seeing Dorgu in that advanced position, unless they've managed to work some magic on him in this week, because I don't think he's good enough on the ball, period. It's an enforced change, and if you don't have a body, you're going to have to put him there. But Dorgu right now does not inspire enough confidence. I have faith in him coming good as a player, if not this season, then the next because he has all the makings. He has the physicality for the Premier League, right? Defensively, he's superb, no doubt, right? You might see something crazy like just because it's the natural foot. We haven't seen anything like playing a wide player on his side, right? Like a left footer on the left and a right footer on the right. Uh, you might see Dorgo and Dalo playing on the natural sides if it is going to be a 4-4-2,
Yeah.
right? Because even Leche
Yeah,
played a
Jarvis has been
4-2.
saying that. Jarvis has been saying that.
Yeah.
But the Lecce example is tricky because in his last season, even in the four
He
four
also
two,
played
he
right
played on the
wing.
right
He
side.
also played
Yeah,
right wing. Yeah, I know.
yeah,
But Lecce, there was no expectation of him giving that attacking output, right? It was more like survival football because they were, and I haven't, I mean, probably other people have seen him play for Lecce on that right wing, but it might have been a defensive tactic, right? Like I think Ten Hag played Fred as a defensive 10 for a couple of games when we needed him, like in the Europa League, right?
he
So that
also
might have
played
been more of a
Mazraoui.
yeah, yeah, he
He
also
also played
played, which
Mazraoui.
was
Yeah,
I never got that. I mean, that was a weird game. Uh, but anyway, I think what I'm excited to see is what Amorim comes up with because if anything, he's shown that he is a thinking manager. He's a problem solver, right? With the existing scattered Frankenstein squad that we have, he's managed to get us to the top of the XG table. And I know we discussed a lot of this in the Stat Padders
stat
episode,
patterns. Yeah,
right? And just to give the guys a sneak peek. Ever since we've started recording XG, this season is the highest XG that we've ever achieved. And in all those other seasons, we've never been like anywhere remotely close to the top of the XG table,
yeah.
right? And this season
But
we are on
Rishi,
top.
the interesting thing is we've also never been so negative about the team after 16 games, while at the same time creating the most XG we've ever created.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't think any other manager's been under this amount of scrutiny. Even Ollie, and Ollie wasn't even. I
this
mean, don't
early
get me
in,
wrong.
this
Yeah,
early in into their
yeah.
managerial career, they've never had the scrutiny
I
because
mean,
with
he's been here for a
Mourinho and,
year.
and all those
He's been
guys.
here for a year, right? So that's. I mean, people were judgmental of him even in the last season, in the previous season. But with all
No,
due
what
respect
I
to
mean is
Ollie,
like with Mourinho. Sorry, but what I meant is by with like Mourinho, for example, people got really sick of him in the last season, or at the end of the second season when all the player FC stuff was happening,
right?
and then even with Oli, we were getting really sick of him in the last season. Whereas the patience seems to be running out with Amram within his first year. That's the
And
surprising
I'll
thing.
tell you what, he would have already been sacked if not for the underlying numbers, right? If he was performing exactly like the previous season, he would have been gone by now because he was putting up an average of a goal a game, whether it was XG or actual performance. This time he's putting up 2 goals a game, right? And just something interesting I noticed, I wanted to share with the community something interesting about XG, right? Like we always say XG catches up. Bournemouth had been underperforming both their XG and XGA before our game, and I had kept a watch out for that. And when I saw the XG table today in preparation for our episode, I saw that their XG had caught up with the underlying numbers. Sorry, the goals had caught up with the XG. So they created like 1.8 goals and they scored 4, right? And that actually evened it out. So this was due, and we are lucky that in the same game their XGA didn't, their goals conceded didn't catch up with the XGA, right? Because they are conceding more goals than they should. And if they had a shutout, this game was primed for a 3-0 repeat, Andy. If you're just looking at the statistics, and last
Yeah.
season loses 3-0 again. The fact that we didn't, right? Because all those goals that we lost, we considered they're all individual errors, transitions, right? People making cascading mistakes, cascading errors, players not able to put their chances away. That's how those 3-0s were, and that's how yesterday it was, right? And I
What,
feel
but
that,
Rishi, you know what's interesting? I want to
yeah,
get your opinion on this, which is at the beginning of the season when we were trying to explain the three at the back system to everybody and why the system isn't the problem, but the execution is. We kept saying it was player errors. And guess what happened against the Bournemouth game? The execution on the attacking side was good for the chance creation till the final third, but the
yeah,
finishing execution was not there. So, from an
yeah,
attacking sense, you could say they did 80% of the things right, where before they weren't even getting 80% right. And then from a
right,
defensive side of execution, they got maybe 30-40% right and still made those mistakes. And that's what you get from a 4-4 game. Because let's be honest, even if our attacking execution instead of 80% was 100%, we win that game 6-4,
yeah.
right?
Even more probably, because I saw Mbumo had a hat trick for the taking. And if
Yeah.
that brother wasn't tired from carrying this team on his back for the first 3 months, he probably would have had a hat trick, right? We
Yeah.
forget that players are also human, and in Mbumo's case, you've actually seen the quality, right? He's won Player of the Month for God's sake. So you see that he's capable of even simple passes like 5 yard passes, rolling the ball to the player ahead of him. He was hitting it straight to the player, and it's all biomechanics and muscle fatigue and mental fatigue. So I understand we are doing great things, like we are supremely overperforming with this bare bones Frankenstein squad, and even this tactical change that he's brought about. I think it's something interesting. I'm excited to see what he'll do on the right flank in the next game.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know about you, man. I'm kind of excited to see Shea Lacey. Um, it may not work out. Villa's going to be a tough game, and all of the obvious concerns. But how nice would it be for a change? We just had a player hit the ground running, like from the U team, and we're just
Oh
all like
yeah,
waxing lyrical,
yeah,
because it's obviously the most likely thing that can happen is that he fails in the team because we've had senior players come in and fail. But how nice would it be if he just like scores the winner on his debut, like just has a very nice thing to him within this team. Because here's the thing, right? What is it? Arsene Wenger, all those years ago, he used to do this thing where if he bought a new player, he would just throw him into the team straight away because he knew that the other teams wouldn't know that much about him in the first few games, right? And so
yeah.
Villa, when they're playing against us, as meticulous as Emery is, he's not going to spend 90% of his time talking about Shea Lacey in the build up, right? And plus, there's not much evidence of us playing the 4-4-2 system elsewhere. So, thoughts on Shea Lacey, Rishi?
I would love it. I would absolutely love it, but I don't think Amarim's going to start him. That's my challenge, because I would love to see a youngster thrown in. He's what, 17, 18 now, maybe,
He's 18
and
now.
he's 18 now. And just to see that fleet-footedness, that electricity, it gets the stadium up on its feet, right? You saw that despite Kobe's shenanigans, when he entered the pitch against Bournemouth, the crowd gave him a rousing applause, right? They welcomed him, and that kind of, and he didn't play too badly. I know he, like, defensively he probably along with a lot of other players in that cascading list of errors, he was one of the contributing factors. But with the ball in those tight spaces, the quick give and goes, he's always been great at it. So with Shea Lacey also, there's going to be that excitement, anticipation. And I feel this Villa team, right, if you pin them back, they have a mistake or two in them because their centre backs aren't the most assured, right? And their right back actually should be in a boy band, like in his farewell tour right now. He shouldn't be playing football.
Is
Talking
that
about
Cash?
Matty Cash. Yeah,
Yeah,
Matty.
yeah.
So no
Matty Cash.
disrespect.
Matty Cash sounds like the distant cousin of Jack Grealish, doesn't he? Uh, like maybe they
Looks
have
looks like him probably. Yeah,
looks like
looks
him.
like
Sorry,
him.
yeah, looks like him.
Yeah,
Not sounds like
looks
yeah,
like
looks
him.
looks
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
distant cousin.
yeah.
Like I know he's Polish, but like the English side of him is related to Jack Grealish in some way.
Yeah, it's like Grealish could be taking a girl home, and the next day, this guy Matty Cash gets slapped. You didn't call me back.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. He gets mistaken for him. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough. But Waha Wahaha Wahaha says Cash is playing great. What are you on about? I think he was just making fun of Cash.
But good to see a Villa
Anyways,
fan in there.
yeah. It's
So we're
not
gonna get
back
a
for
message
it's
now.
still
I'm
three.
not a Villa fan. I just watch football, unlike you.
It's still three
Just,
center
just
backs and two
we're
wing
just having
backs.
fun, bro. Wah, ha, 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 ha. We're just doing a bit of the ha ha ha's here.
Yeah. When Ahmad goes into attack, Dallo often stays back. Having with his ball playing ability made the difference. It's not okay, Manish. We're not saying he's changed his system. We're saying he has tweaked it in the sense that we used to see a 4-4-2 off the ball. We used to see a 5-4-1 off the ball. Now we're seeing a 4-4-2 on the ball as well, with Euro going a little bit more on the right hand side, and Dallo staying a little bit back on the left hand side. I just don't. The thing is, Rishi, I just don't think he's gonna make the change for moving Dallo to the other side when he is just finally learning how to put a cross after cutting inside. Because that was, even though he didn't
Hmm.
get the assist for it, that was technically the assist
Yeah.
for the Ahmad goal.
Okay, I want to go back to the Shea Lacey aspect of it. Let's say he doesn't start Shea Lacey. What do you think the 4-4-2 is? What does it look like? Because when I say 4-4-2, I mean finally we play Shaw as the left back and we don't play him as the left center back, right? Because essentially with Shaw playing, it is two
Mhm.
center backs and two wing backs and then two wide players and then Cunha, Bruno, and you have a forward and then you have Casemiro. So it is
Yeah,
that
so
traditional system.
so the question then becomes, if Shaw plays left back, we need the question is, who plays left midfield, right? And the
Yeah,
natural answer would be Dallo, because Dallo and Shaw have played on that side for so long already,
yeah,
right? And we could see Shaw inverting into the midfield from left back, and Dallo stays back, just like we saw in the Bournemouth game. Actually, he did
yeah,
invert into the midfield a couple of
yeah, yeah.
times, right? So we might see that a lot more often, and have Dallo be the left midfielder slash left back. Then the question is Dorgu good enough to start as the right back? And then Dorgu also gets the same chance of essentially inverting or going on the overlap. Maybe Dorgu goes more on the overlap. And so if Dorgu plays there, Dallow's the left midfielder, and Shaw is the left back who goes forward. I guess the answer is Mount is our right midfielder, right?
Mm-hmm,
Because Cunha and Sheshko probably play up top, with
mm-hmm,
Cunha having more of the free role. I can see that working. I can also see him going for maybe Mainu in the midfield instead of Bruno, and starting Bruno on the right hand side. Right, as
Interesting.
the right midfielder. That's the first shout I gave actually when we started the show. I think Bruno is the guy,
I
because I,
joined a
I
little
wasn't
late.
remembering. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
wasn't
joined a little.
remembering. Dorgu wasn't coming to mind for good reason. But I think Bruno for me also makes sense on the right hand side. He's done that before for Ollie. He's done it before for Ten Hag as well, I think. And he can do a good job, right? He's got a good cross on him, and he actually Bruno would work pretty well with Dorgu, because Bruno doesn't really, he can't get past players, which means naturally he's going to sit inside a bit more. That could allow more room for Dorgu to get through. But my concern is Rishi. I don't know if Heaven and Euro is a good center back partnership, right? And I don't know
Yeah,
if Shaw and Heaven is a good center back partnership either. Like they're
you're
too
praying for
too
Delict
weak.
to come back, right? Basically, you're praying for
Yeah.
Delict to come back, and I think if Delict plays, then you have Euro on the right back position.
Hmm.
You have Heaven and Delict partnership in the center. Uh, then Dorgu still doesn't play because you start Dalu at left mid
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
right mid Mount. You play Kobe and Bruno, so you still get that compact middle four, right? I
Oh
think,
yeah, I forgot Casemiro's not even playing. So
yeah,
that was the other reason. That was
he's
the other
injured, I
reason.
think, or suspended. I
It
don't know
it
which one.
might actually be. So here's my shout. It might actually be Kobe, and he's suspended because of accumulation of yellow cards. I think
Yeah, fifth yellow card or
um
10th yellow card, maybe.
fifth yellow card. I think. So if we look at Kobe and Ugarte could be actually a central midfield partnership that he used in preseason,
And
and then
then
he
Bruno
plays
on the
Bruno
right.
on the right hand side. Yeah, Bruno on the
Yeah,
right hand
yeah,
side,
yeah, yeah. Makes
and then
sense.
Cunha and Sheshko up top. I think that might be the way he goes because I don't think he trusts Kobe or Ugarte to start by themselves. It's more likely.
Right.
Let's put it this way: it's more likely that Ugarte starts next to Bruno in the midfield than it
Can I
is
give you
Kobe and
another
Bruno.
shout?
Go for it.
I think he doesn't
Amarim
drop
puts
your boy.
himself in the midfield.
Sorry.
Player manager.
No, no, he throws the gauntlet down to Paul Scholes and says, "Scholesy, let's see it again."
Yeah, come back from
I
mid. Yeah.
think, I think, I think it doesn't drop your boy Mount. I think we start with Mount and Cunha as the two, and we play Bruno on the right,
Oh, Sheshko
and
doesn't start.
Sheshko doesn't start because he's still injured. He played him 20 minutes in the previous game,
Yep.
25 minutes. So
It's
I
probably a
think
good
he
shout.
might, because
He
see,
comes off
the
the bench
point
at
is,
best.
you're losing out on three of your informed players, right? You need as many informed players whose bodies are warm, right? Who've got minutes under their legs, under their feet or in their legs or whatever. And you've got to start as many players who've got that chemistry. So Mount has built up some chemistry with Bruno, with Cunha. He wants to preserve that. So it might in transition look like an attacking three with Bruno right wing, Mount left wing, Cunha middle, Kobe going forward, right? You've got Dalo bombing down the left wing. So I have a feeling that Sheshko comes off the bench. And I don't know, dude. Now that I think of it, I think we AFCON has really shafted us because it's thrown the whole plan out of the window. So this is the real challenge, I think, because no one
Yeah.
is being. I think Sunderland have got a lot of African internationals. Maybe
Wolves
Brentford
also
has.
has a decent amount of them. All the struggling teams, because this is the thing, right? The reason why the lower level teams have African players is because the top teams don't go for African players as much, right?
Yeah,
They because of AFCON, it's the AFCON tax or the AFCON penalty,
yeah,
whatever you want to call it. That's why these players go for it because you can get African players for maybe 20, 30, 50% cheaper,
yeah.
depending on what
Absolutely, no,
level they're
much,
in.
much, much cheaper, and not just the transfer price, but the salary is also pretty low. You
Yeah,
look at a Sunderland, someone like a Sadiki who comes from Union Saint Gilloise, he must be on 20 grand, maybe 20, 25 grand.
yeah. Let me take a look.
Ayush says Sheshko got an assist. Don't underestimate Benjamin Sheshko. Dude, did he really get the assist? It was a deflection from Truffert, right?
No, he didn't get the assist, but no, he nobody's saying he doesn't play well, bro. He's still just coming back from an injury. So I think
Yeah.
Rishi shout of him not starting makes sense. Nightwing says 4-4-4 would be even better. Yeah. Let's get why don't we just get 11 outfield players, bring Onana back. He doesn't want to play in
Maybe
goal
the
anyways.
4-4-4 is if we get the ref and linesman on our side. Unfortunately, Howard Webb is retired, so that I don't see that happening.
Yeah. Let me see Noah Siddiqui. He's listed as a Belgian player here, but he was born and
No, no,
raised in Belgium.
he's a Congolese
But
international.
he plays for Congo, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because you look at the Belgian team right now, you'd think he could get into that team.
See, I
Um,
don't know, dude. Even we were recently linked with Sadiki, right? So I wasn't too
he's
excited about
making
the prospect.
£40,000 base.
40,000. That's a good wage.
10,000. 10,000. It's higher than I would have expected.
Absolutely,
He
I
has
would have expected
10K
like
bonus
a
as well.
25 grand salary.
Yeah. So he's making £2 million a year base at 20 years old. That's a pretty good salary. He probably has good representation. Because he was only on 5K at Union
And
Saint
also, Andy, you know what, right? He is technically also a European citizen. He's not an African resident and citizen. Like, he's got family in Europe, not back in Africa. So any employer that pays you, they want to know what your standard of living is, and all those things also factor into it, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think that played a role.
yeah,
Anyway, good
for
for him.
sure.
I'm happy he's making decent money.
Yeah. Ayush, it's not about the Sheshko assist, bro. It's just about the fitness, right? Sheshko got the assist in FPL, by the way. Well, good for him. But he wasn't he wasn't credit. I don't think he gets the bonus from the club. Because it wasn't, Sir Jim is right there while he's signing the checks, being like, no, no, no.
Yeah.
He's like, you want me to give you the bonus, or you want the lunch lady to have a job? Right? That's gonna be his question. Which
Varun
Spanish
Jain
Italian
asks, Varun Jain asks, Baleba is still 100 million or has the price dropped now? It's
I
interesting
think he's
question, Andy, because they recently, I think someone said that Amorim's first priority is Baleba in the midfield.
Rishi,
So
I think he's still 100 million plus just in rupees. Okay. Yeah. It's not gonna be pounds or euros or any currency that we want to pay. He's not gonna be 100 million now. In fact, he seems on a mission to drop one of the digits from that, like he wants to be sold for 10 million. Shaylin's laughing at that. Sean, I think Brighton is looking at it and saying we should have sold him for 70 in the summer.
yeah, absolutely. So recently I heard
Aaron,
figures of 85 million euro, which is 74 million, 75 million pounds, is what not Brian, sorry, Bayern were quoted to be in for him.
Brighton and
For
Byron, you went for Brian.
Yeah, I went for Brian.
Brian in
Shout out
Jamaica
to
was
this
quoting
dear
it.
long-term viewer in Jamaica right now. Showed us a few views of the country, and it
Yeah.
looked very pretty, man. Great
I
natural
mean, yeah,
beauty, and
aside from the slideshow of devastation that we saw,
yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. But it still seemed like peaceful. It seemed like the people had, they had spirit and resilience. So I appreciated that.
yeah, Brian Munich says Warren.
Brian Munich. By the way,
Yeah,
if you guys see the outtakes from the Stat Padders recordings, the blooper reel. Oh my god.
yeah. It's. I think the Indian viewers will have more fun
Yeah.
watching it, because every episode we shoot, Rishi has like 4 bloopers, and it's just me dying in the background.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm not the professional, right? I don't turn my camera on and start talking about football for a living.
oh
So
yeah,
a
sure,
few of
sure.
those things
That's
are
the
bound
reason.
to creep in.
Yeah, lazy and gentlemen. Anyways, yeah, what were we talking about? Okay, we got Vinny and Be Cool in the backstage. Let me bring them on. Vinny, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Has Cobby quietened down in the background?
Yeah.
He's getting some game time now. Nice.
That's good. That's good.
Be Cool, how are you doing?
I'm fine, and you?
Very good, very good. Okay, go on. Tell us. Apparently, Be Cool. There's links to Ruben Neves in January. What do you think about Ruben Neves?
Ruben Neves is a curious player. He was launched in the first team of Porto when he was 16. Then it was in his first season. He did a good season. He was Roland Lopetegui wonder boy. But I'm not very sold on 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 him. I think he has Premier League experience, so there's no problem with that. But being 2 or 3 years in playing in the sand, it's not very good. He only plays in the Portuguese national team because of Ronaldo, and almost everybody that goes to play in the sand with him, they have to go to the national team. You see, for instance, João Felix didn't play in the national team while he was in England, but then he went to the sand to play with Ronaldo, so he went to the national team. I know that he can play at a high level, but I think that he will have to adapt, and it will take time. He's not a guy that will start performing on the first day. If you go and get a guy from the Premier League, probably you can get someone that starts playing immediately. He's not the guy that will have the physicality to start and playing 100% on day one.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I also think the pace of the league has changed, right? Since he last played in the Premier League. So that's the difficult part with Ruben Amorim. Can you give us a Portuguese pronunciation, please? I was kind of hoping you would do that.
Ruben Neves.
There we go.
Oh, that's
There we go.
authentic, dude. That's authentic. I think
Yeah.
Ruben Neves just stood up somewhere in Riyadh and he's like, "Who called me?"
Yeah. Yeah, he just heard his name echo through the chambers of his large villa, wherever he stays.
It's like João Neves.
Yeah, I also Bruno Fernandes, right? How do you say Bruno's name?
Bruno Fernandes.
There we go. There we go. Perfect pronunciation, man. Vinny, how are you feeling, man? You finally swapped in your Tottenham sweater for a United sweater. I like it.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Yeah,
Dude,
the
that
game on
thing
Monday
looks thick.
was good. Yes, it is. It is. It's thick. Cool. I heard you guys discussing about AFCON.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go for it.
AFCON among other things. So we're just wondering how he's Ruben's going to line up, because we saw glimpses of a 4-4-2 system, a flat back four, not just out of possession, which we've seen throughout the season, but even with the ball, it was a flat back four a lot of times. So we were just wondering how he's going to play for the next game, because even Casemiro is suspended. So if you have any sort of an idea of what you think could be the players and what formation we play, let us have it.
Yeah, guys, on the system thing, right? I think some hours to the match, the formation was already out. We already knew
Yeah.
that, so we
Yeah.
have to be a
Yeah.
bit careful
Information
about
leak.
that, right? Because
Yeah.
I mean, this is just on the word on the street, right? That Ganato used to leak the team news to his brother for him to leak it to the press or to the Twitter. As I've mentioned, we're gonna miss Rawi, Bumo.
Vinny, 1 second. Shaylin wants Be Cool to say, I am Jose Mourinho. Be Cool, can you please help us out?
What? I am Jose Mourinho.
Yes.
Why?
Shaylin, is that good enough? Oh, he just wants to hear the Portuguese accent, man. You're just doing it so well. None of us are cultured enough to get it.
No,
Yeah.
maybe Be Cool doesn't know that I am Jose Mourinho is an ad that Mourinho had shot, and that's become a famous meme of his. I am Jose Mourinho.
No.
So he wanted to hear you say that.
Okay. I have a question. Do you think that Manu will play in the starting 11 after the free Manu incident?
Ooh.
Oh.
Be cool asking the big questions, the hard questions. Oh,
I think
I think he's
I think he
getting
can.
fed by Karl Anka. He's about what questions he's going to ask in the next press conference.
I think he can, right? There is the opportunity because we are. I mean, the squad is thin.
Also,
And so
Casemiro's injury.
exactly,
Sorry, Casemiro's
he's
suspension.
suspended. Exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll be cutting ourselves, right? We'll be cutting our own fingers rather than benching him or
Ryan's
taking
brought out the webcam. Let's go.
or taking an action which will make the squad further thinner than what we have at the moment. So I think maybe if there is any disciplinary issues or if there is any decisions that we are going to take, it will be at the end of the season. And it's also the reason why we don't want to actually let him go on loan in January, right? Because the squad is thin. So there is opportunities there for him.
So Amorim is going soft.
It's not going soft, right? Like let's
going
use
soft.
no. Let's use Garnacho and Rashford as an example, right? I think we entertained Garnacho till the end of last season until he was got
That
told that
turned out
you need to
well.
find yourself. Come again.
That turned out very well.
Exactly. So maybe it might be the same treatment that he can offer to Kobe Mino.
Oh, so you think that, Vinny, you think he didn't learn anything with the Garnacho incident?
Bench. We see bench, right? We see bench.
That's
Kobe Mino.
I'm doing a Jordan Mainu, and I'm trying to say where Kobe should be.
Kobe Mino is playing the same thing that Garnacho did. First the agent, then the brother, then saying that he wants to get out.
He's not signing the contract.
Also, hold on. Maybe he was the one who leaked the formation change, right? Because then that would be very much the same as Garnacho. So, be cool. I hear you. I think so. The only reason we would play Kobe is for necessity, right? Because if we don't have other players now, you could look at the team
That's
and you
being
could
soft.
say, no, but if we don't have any other players, we can't
don't
just
have options.
start with 10 players. Yeah.
You don't have
Get
options.
the kid from the academy. The precedent is you have to be tough. You have to be able to pay the consequences of your actions. You either do that and win the group, or you don't do that and you lose the group.
I disagree on that. There's a reason why sometimes you need to manage situations, right? So that you take a firm decision or you take the right decision at the right moment. And the moment that we find ourselves in, we have 3 players already at AFCON. The squad is already thin. Ugarte is not even, himself anymore. So I think doing ourselves actually, we won't be helping ourselves by actually.
I think so. Be cool. Maybe this is the way to look at it, which is if we play Mainu, there's more chances of us getting more money for him.
Exactly.
In the summer as well, because one thing that happened with Garnacho, which I think the club made a mistake with, is publicly we went out and said we don't want this guy. We did the same thing with Rashford. We did the same thing with Anthony, and we still have no money for Rashford. We got 20 million less than we should have for Garnacho, and what's it called? Anthony as well. Like we had to essentially last day we had to do some agreement with him to let him go, right? So you're looking at a situation where he's forced to play Mainu in some ways, but I also think maybe he plays Ugarte over Mainu and decides Mainu still comes off the bench. So maybe you might get what you're asking for anyways. Be cool.
And for me, right, just to add to what you say, what you just said, Andy. For me, Man United supporter, I support the team, right? It's the team that I actually wanna see win. So if the manager takes a decision which makes the team win, I'm all for it.
Yeah, fair enough. I think
there might be there might be a compromise here, which between what Vinny's saying and what Be Cool is saying. By the way, Be Cool, absolutely love your take. I'm 100% for it. But I also saw, Tevez just insult his manager Roberto Mancini and then be brought back into the fold and lead them to a title. And since then, I don't know what's what. But I still accept that. I still accept that he's got to show some remorse. So I guess the way to start him, have a cake and eat it too, is have Kobe put out some sort of a statement on social media saying that whatever my brother did, I don't condone it. I respect the club, respect the badge, and I want to give everything while I'm still at the club or whatever he deems accessible or acceptable. But I don't think without an apology he gets started.
I don't
Vinny,
think he will do
I
it.
understand.
I don't think he will do it because it's been more than 24 hours since that.
Yeah,
Since that
that's
event,
right. An
and he
apology
hasn't.
should be immediate.
He hasn't. He hasn't done anything. And to be honest with you guys, nobody can convince me that he did not know that his brother was going to do this.
Oh, that I don't want to.
no,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's nonsense. Yeah. Anyways, Ryan,
Yep.
or the ghost of Ryan.
Oh yeah,
how
my
you doing?
camera quality is awful. I have to apologize, but
Ryan,
it's
if
good,
I
man.
may
How you
say, we thought that you are Frank Elliott, but having
Yep.
seen you, you look more like Andy Tate, dude.
oh great, cheers. The one I used to get was Phil Jones when I was younger. 'Cause I pull faces all
Oh
the
yeah,
time.
Mm.
I can totally see that. Yeah. How you doing, mate? Good to have
yeah,
you.
You're
not
Good to
getting
bad,
see
more.
you
not
You're
bad.
finally.
getting more game time on this channel than Phil Jones did at United, though. So
True. I've got to admit, I considered ordering a wig and having a big, massive wig like Frank just to wind you up, but I chose
yeah.
not to. Um, but yeah, no, I've been good. Missed the chat yesterday, so I'm not sure what was said there. But I caught up on Discord a lot with a lot of Bruno slander, hence the the background.
Oh, fair enough.
Because
Fair enough.
I am the biggest Bruno stan in the world, and I think it's blasphemy to talk of selling him. But yeah, what were we talking about? The formation. Personally, I thought we played slightly different, but I felt like it was more just a case of we were so dominant that Ahmad was further up the pitch naturally, and that made it look on the average positions more intended than it actually was. I didn't feel like we were playing that much different than we normally do. I thought, again, I've discussing it a lot in the Discord, but I thought the defending was woeful that game. Really, really bad. Yeah, what was the other discussion we've been having? Oh, Mainu.
I think just on the formation, quickly, Ryan. The only reason we're all saying it was a 4-4-2 is because Amorim actually came out and said,
Oh yeah,
in fact, they're investigating who leaked the news.
who
right?
leaked it? But they said 4-3-3, right? In the
Yeah,
actual
so the Laurie Whitwell article was talking about a 4-3-3, but we saw the average positions. I was watching it during the game. Adam Clary's also covered it.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking more about a 4-4-2/4-2-4. Which again, there's very little difference between a 4-3-3 and a 4-2-4, right? It's really just about where the attacking midfielder is, really.
Yeah.
Right. If they're a second striker, then that becomes a 4-2-4. So yeah, I think it's interesting. There's also a case to be made for 4-2-3-1 because Cunha is playing a free role.
Yeah, I found it interesting that Cunha was actually more deep than Mbumo on most of the average positions, wasn't he? When you'd have thought he'd be the more of the 9 of the two. But yeah, he was dropping a lot.
But that does make sense, like stylistically to me, because even when he does play as a starting 9 in the 3-4-3, he's very deep, right? He'll kind of be all over the place. In the Wolves game, for example, he was starting as the 9, but he was like so deep.
He wants to be
I'll
involved
even
in
make the
everything.
shout that it was Cunha's best game day before, no doubt about it. But also, it was the best game that Mbumo or Cunha, either of them have had. So the influence that Cunha had yesterday was better than Mbumo's best game. Obviously, Mbumo's played a lot of very, very good games for a longer duration. But if you just see that individual game and that individual effort and that one 90-minute performance he put out, he was absolutely everywhere. Like, I was like, this is the Cunha that we paid for, right?
The final
If he
product
plays like
still
this every game.
I think what it is with Cunha is just quickly, Ryan, or Bruno's agent, as I have changed your name to. So for me, I think Cunha's impact is a lot more visible, right? Because he's got that extra flair in him, and like you said, he does appear all over the pitch. Whereas Mbeumo having a good game is just impact. There's no visibility, right? It's pure impact. Very much like Salah, where you'll see him just like, he's not really dribbling through 3 or 4 players or, holding people off, but he's just like, chances he gets, he's going to finish them. And so somebody said in the previous call, actually yesterday, where he is a lot like Salah in that way, where he's either like having a great game or he's not having a good game.
Yeah.
Right. And I thought that was interesting, but sorry, Ryan, go ahead.
I can't remember what I was saying, but no, it's fine. I thought Cunha was good. I did think he is still forcing it a little bit on his final product. I think he's very much conscious of getting goals and assists. He's not playing like the hockey pass if he ever sees that he wants to be the one making the final pass or scoring the goal. But I think that's just going to come once his numbers get up there. He'll naturally start to play more as part of the team. I think he's playing a bit like a maverick. Although he is quite a maverick player in general anyway, which is part
yesterday
of
he nearly gave the assist of the season yesterday.
Oh, with that cross.
Oh yeah, it was
for Mbeumo. Yeah.
The spin, the Johan Cruyff 10,
that's the
Johan Cruyff 10
element
from the player and the pass. I think
there were also a couple of. Sorry, Vinny, go on.
Go ahead. I think that chance was easier to miss than to score.
Yeah,
we all agree. Yesterday, Mbeumo gave us a shit show yesterday.
He was.
That was his hardest chance. Yeah, that was his hardest chance.
I think he's had a few shots in the last few weeks where the keepers have pulled off really good saves, and I think that was in the back of his mind, and he was trying to make absolute sure by smashing the life out of every shot, and he was just getting 6 points for stale sharks or something. So yeah, I think that was just a case of trying too hard for Mbeumo, because you could see how hard he was trying.
Maybe there was a family member. Maybe there was a family member sitting in Rosette, and he just wanted to get him the ball.
Give him the ball.
Yeah. Be cool. During AFCON, who do you think is going to be our most important player?
I'm not sure because I'm very doubtful of this Ruben's evolution. I don't think that training 1 or 2 weeks can make the process run smooth. So I think that I don't think that we have a stable player in our backline, one that is commanding and that will correct everyone else. And that's what we've been lacking since day one. I think that although the league has made good performances, is not the one to immediately read the game and explain everyone else how to move. And I think that United lacks a player with that intelligence, that awareness, and that leading capability at back. And while we don't solve that, we'll keep on bleeding goals. It's not a question of the midfield being run over. That's a false narrative.
Yeah.
Teams should know how to defend with less players, not to gain the ball, but to delay until the other members of the team come back. And I'm not seeing that in Manchester United.
Yeah.
We don't close the attackers. We don't close the space. We in every play, we have a lot of space between people. So it will be difficult not to concede goals. And as I said, I'm not very sure how we will attack. So it's difficult to forecast. Just another hot take. I think Bruno should leave the Manchester United.
Be Cool has
because
been watching. Be Cool's been watching Jose Mourinho press conferences before he comes on here. He's just giving us
no,
explosive news after explosive news.
Be Cool's blowing hot
no,
today.
Yeah.
because no one is above the club, and as a captain, he has responsibilities, and one of these responsibility is not to take shots to the management. If he has those questions, he should solve them internally. But that's not an issue for Amorim to resolve, because Amorim has to work with problems within the team. That's a problem between Bruno and the management. But I don't see a path for Bruno to keep on Manchester United after this season.
Okay, that's fair enough. Bruno's agent, thoughts?
Yeah, no, I obviously entirely disagree. I will say the sound bites that people have made and the headlines that people have made from what Bruno said and what he actually said in its totality are completely different. He was asked how he felt about the fact that the offer came in, and he was saying that he felt that the club wanted to let him go and that he felt hurt by that because he wants to be at the club. He was literally pointing out how much he loves the club, and he was saying how I can't remember the exact quote. I'd have to find it, but he was essentially saying he's the player that never makes any problems. He always tries his best. He's always there. He's always available. He's always fit. And he said there are other players. I wonder who they could be that don't do the same, and that the club seem to want to keep hold of them. So I think it was more of a case of Bruno saying it hurts that he feels like he loves the club more than the club necessarily loves him, which from the management is probably true. I don't think it is from the fans. I think the fans, for the most part, see him as sort of like the modern day legend. But no, yeah, I just don't see how we can get rid of Bruno and stay even remotely the same level of team. He is the gold standard for any player that wants to be a Manchester United player. You should be like Bruno, and I feel like we don't have anyone else that can fill that role. Like, no one else is at the same quality level as him, as well as also having the same work rate and desire and passion for the team as him. And also, he did say the exact same things at Sporting Lisbon. If you actually look it up, he had a quote that, well, it was actually a leak. He was speaking to a teammate about how nobody at that club at the time had any desire to be better or like wasn't trying hard enough for the club. And that was before he left them because to obviously come to us. So it is something that he's felt before. It's just, I think Bruno has such a love for the game of football and the club. Have we lost
We
out?
have a saying in Portugal.
Yeah.
Only people that are in the cemetery can't be replaced. Everyone else can be replaced. There's no one that is irreplaceable.
In terms of quality, he is definitely irreplaceable. That there is no player that we could bring in that could replace his actual quality.
Then the team as a whole replaces
to be fair, to be cool, Ryan, to be fair, to be cool, you can't actually say that there is no player like Bruno, right? I mean, there's obviously players out there who could have a similar impact. There are players better than Bruno. It's just that he's shown us so much loyalty and so much quality for such a long time that we feel he's irreplaceable, right? But
So-
technically, Be Cool is right. Because we discussed this yesterday, Ryan, and we kind of arrived at the point that there's a good chance that Bruno has an agreement to leave already. That's why he's okay saying these things, which is fair. So eventually, when he does leave, he does need to be replaced, right? Of course, we can't replace him in January, but if he does leave, he needs to be replaced. Forgets whether he's replaceable or irreplaceable. He does need to be replaced. So what do we do then?
Yeah, to clarify my point, it's not necessarily his ability that can't be replaced. I feel it's his passion and work rate combined with the ability that I definitely don't see any players with it. At least.
If I may give my thoughts, and I'd love to get Be Cool's reaction to this. I think Be Cool, the problem isn't that Bruno isn't replaceable, right? Because whether it's one player that you bring in to directly replace Bruno or you spread his impact around multiple players, there is a way to replace Bruno. But the concern is you let Bruno go, and let's say we get in two players to replace him. There's every chance one of those two players doesn't work out. Then you're still falling short of what Bruno is actually giving you in the team, right? So it's not necessarily that Bruno isn't replaceable. It's that at this point where we are in our squad building journey, I'm even worried Casemiro isn't replaceable because that's how bad we are in terms of our depth, right? So if we let both Bruno and Casemiro go, let's say this summer, or even in January, depending on how upset you are with what Bruno said, we can't just go fix that problem immediately, right? So we are going to see a downturn in our form, in our ability, whenever Bruno leaves. I think next year, if we bring in 2 or 3 midfielders, we bring in a good left wing back, we bring in a cover for Šeško, bring in a cover for Mbumo, then I'll be more comfortable saying, okay, let's let Bruno go. Does that make a bit more sense, Biku?
I'm not demanding that Bruno leaves in January. It's not that. I'm saying that going forward, next season, I'm not seeing why the management would keep him. Because his age.
Yeah, I think they're going to let him go. Yeah.
He's aging. He has good performances. He has very good outputs. But how many years ago or did Bruno sign?
Almost 6 years ago now.
6 years ago. If you go and use the money that was spent on Bruno at that time, and then you actualize it to the present time, how much would that be? 140, 150 million pounds?
No, he was signed for 55 million pounds, I think, and
there's not been much football inflation.
Yeah.
Are you saying how much would he be worth if he was as good as this before we signed him?
What I'm saying is that Manchester must understand that to replace a marquee player must make a marquee investment. It's not going to solve that with bringing players like Mbumu or Cunha, which were good to improve the standards. But the team now revolves around Bruno. Still revolves around Bruno. It was what I was saying in Simic's channel. When people don't know what to do, they go on Bruno. And most teams normally have a star. As good as they are, they always have a star, a guiding light. And to sign a player like that, you have to spend a lot of money. And if Man United wants to give the next step and replace Bruno, they should strive for a player of that caliber.
Yeah. So be cool. Maybe you can give us one name and then we'll react to that. Who do you think should be the marquee signing to replace Bruno?
Jude Bellingham.
Okay.
Wow. That's
I disagree.
Rishi, let's have your quick thoughts and then go to main news agent, because we're talking about replacing one England midfielder with another England midfielder. Or rather one former England midfielder with another former England midfielder, because Tuchel apparently doesn't want to play Jude Bellingham.
I think Bellingham, in his mind, thinks that he might be bigger than Real Madrid. So he obviously thinks that he owns Man United, right? Because Real are a bigger club in many ways than us. I wouldn't want him anywhere. That kind of a profile also, for that matter, because I've seen him be more reckless and like without the ball, lose his temper, go in for that. Like Bruno's petulance is mostly with the ref, or at his teammates. Bellingham shows his frustration on the pitch. He'll go for a reckless tackle and leave like 100 yards in the middle of the park. And that's not going to help us. Obviously, with the ball at his feet, you could argue that he's just as good as Bruno. But I think Bruno has that crazy long pass in him, which Bellingham doesn't have. I think Bellingham is a very good player, but he's that luxury player that works well in a team like a Real Madrid or maybe a Bayern Munich that's regularly playing low quality opposition. I don't
Also,
think he
Bruno in
works
that Madrid team
in
has a
Premier League.
higher output than Bellingham.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Even at this age,
Yeah. No, I'm saying right now.
22-year-old
I'm saying right now.
Yeah.
And if you want a marquee signing from Real Madrid, I think Arda Güler would be a much better fit in terms of being at Bruno's level for creativity or growing into that, because he's not there yet. Plus, he plays in the 10. He's a more natural fit for the right 10 to compete with Mbeumo. Or even playing the left half.
Bruno was there yet. When Bruno was signed, Bruno was at his top level. You shouldn't replace a top level player for a player that will become top level.
Yeah, but Arda Güler is entering into his prime, right? And he's shown me enough in terms of his skill set that could do it. But I'm not saying let's go get him, because Madrid are going to ask for crazy money, and he plays for them in the starting 11 right now. But we have Bellingham's agent joining the chat now. Let's hear from Nightwing.
Yeah, my client's not coming to United. Just letting you guys know now. Just wanted to get that done. He didn't want to come before he went to Real Madrid. He's not going to come after. He's not going to leave for a team that has sporadically made Europe for the last 5 years to the team that's actually in the Champions League semifinals every year. So I'm going to put that out there. I'm sorry.
I think you're talking about even Joe Bellingham, right?
Yeah.
You're saying possibly. Even Joe Bellingham doesn't come. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Look, we have this habit, and I'm not saying every individual does on this chat, but there's a habit from United fans from my time on being on these YouTube channels and all the comments, is that we don't appreciate the players who are playing for us, and we always want the shiny thing outside, and the shiny thing outside is what's going to get us to win. That's just players, that's managers since Sir Alex Ferguson left. Most of the people were excited when Ten Hag got hired, right? I would say that everyone was excited that he got hired. They were hoping he could bring his style. Then he had to deal with the Ronaldo stuff. And then the second year, he had a lot of injuries. And by then, everyone was over him and wanted the next thing, right? We were good with, we weren't very happy with Jose when he came at the end of it, because he wasn't playing entertaining football and he was all just counterattack. And we were so happy the first however many weeks of Ole's tenure when he went on this great win streak, and we thought we were going to be great. But by the end of his too, everyone hated him, wanted something shiny. We always want something else, and we don't appreciate the people who are playing for us. And Bruno's been our best player since he came on. Let's just face it. Not just our best player, he's been our most consistent player, and he's been our most available player for all that time. And yeah, people won't like him because apparently he's too emotional to be captain, even though their favorite captain was Roy Keane, who literally got into fights. And apparently that's not an emotion. Anger is not an emotion for a captain. That's an okay emotion to be had. But I don't know, man. Can we just appreciate him? He's probably going to leave. I have no problem with saying Bruno should probably leave this summer or next year because he's 32 and he runs a lot.
I think it's even too early for the summer.
It might even be too early for the summer, but if you want value for him, next summer is probably the best time to do it, right? Because his contract's up in 2027. So if you want value for him as a manager, he's still young. He's still available all the time. He's played however many games in a row for club and country. Somebody in Spain, somebody in Italy is going to want him. And probably if he goes to Italy, one of the top teams there, he'll probably really help them out, right?
He has a release clause for the European teams as well. I think it's like 58 million or something. But if he goes to Saudi, we probably get a bit more money. So he's not going to go to Saudi. That's almost for sure. Because
and I think that's I think that's what this interview was. He's like, all this money for Saudi, I would have made a lot more money. I don't want to go there right now.
Yeah.
If you are planning on moving me anytime soon, these are my preferred ones, and he wants to put that out there.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that they should do, because I think Rio Ferdinand said it a few weeks ago. Like, people were saying that they should have taken the money for the 100 million for Bruno. He's like, yeah, but then you have to move that 100 million to what? Replace him with 3 other players, and you're not even sure if that will actually replace him. I just like to appreciate Bruno for his availability, his running. He may be terrible defensively. I completely get that. Like, he leaves a little space. It's not like we're a perfect defensive team anyway. He's not the straw that breaks the back to make us a top 2 team defensively, right? So my appreciation for Bruno is very high. I think he's great for us. And here's another thing about Bruno that why I really appreciate about him since he's come in. Wherever he's asked to play, he plays.
Yeah.
He plays deeper now. Everybody here agrees, if he was in the front, how many more goals he'd have, how many more assists he'd have, right? And he could probably play there. But we got 2 really good guys in the 10, and we got a striker. So fine. But when Ten Hag was here, he played everywhere too, guys. He was in the back 2 pivot. He was the 10 right wing, which he hated to play, but he played there for like how many games in a row when everyone was hurt? This guy just does everything for the team. And I think we need to, and I don't think he gets appreciated enough for that, because it's so much easier to hate on him for his, gestures on the pitch.
Nightwing, the other thing that gets on my nerves is that people who say, oh, he forces us to have the team ceiling be Bruno's ceiling, right? Because everything goes through him. Well, like, guys, we signed 2 of the biggest XG overperformers in the Premier League last season, Premier League proven players that were supposed to come and take the load off of Bruno. Guess who's the second highest goals and assists in the Premier League? Not just in our team, in the Premier League. It's Bruno Fernandes at 12 goals. Erling Haaland has 20 right now. Bruno has 5 goals and 7 assists. And he missed those 2 penalties, so he could have easily been at 14 right now. So we're looking at, even if we get rid of him in the summer, dude, we're going to get Anderson and Wharton in the midfield, or Anderson and Baleba in the midfield. How many goals and assists do those guys have? And you compare that to the combination that Casemiro's even giving you, right? Because Casemiro and Bruno, how many goals and assists do they have combined? It's like probably 16, 17
goals already.
Yeah. And maybe even more assists, right? So you're looking at somebody who is still giving you so much, even when you bring in 2 players that are supposed to be better than him. And like, how are we going to manage without this guy? That's what I don't understand. Like, people are, I just had the Three Devils podcast as well with Semix and James, and they brought up the point that, we don't want to just remodel the kitchen. We want to rebuild the whole house. So Bruno has to go as well. I hear you, but at the same time, like, he's not just a room in the house. He's like the foundation, right? And you're getting rid of the whole thing. What if we just build a shit house after getting rid of this house? That's my concern.
I think this is a wild take, actually, to have Bruno gone. For me, it's way too early. We are in a process, right? And we will need some experienced people to actually also guide the new or young players who actually come on board. And I think Bruno is a perfect example for that. Guys, we underappreciate Bruno, as Nightwing said. Bruno never complains. He just does everything that he is asked of from the coach, and he gives the numbers as well, right? So I don't know what to expect more from him. For me, I want him to actually continue to stay on, play until he retires, even at United, and offer, because you can see that he loves the club. He has it in him, right? Even the way he plays, he depicts Man United. If it goes well, it's fantastic. If it doesn't go well, it's shit. That's Bruno in a nutshell. So for me, I still think that we need him around to also kind of, and guys, he's a very elite professional. Very elite professional. You will never hear stories. Bruno is always available to play. Maybe he has good genes, but I've never heard Bruno miss a match. right? I think one time or something, he's always available for us. That is an ability, on its own when it comes to modern day footballers. So we need to reconsider that take. I will still want him
I
around.
think his injury record is so good, it's probably even better than Cristiano Ronaldo. When he played, and okay, different type of player, like fast twitch muscle fibers versus slow twitch based on the speed and all that and size, whatever. But still, nonetheless, Bruno's been very available for a 5'10" midfielder that plays in the Premier League, where there's a lot of players sliding into you, putting in tackles. So yeah, availability is a good point as well. Semix is saying, no, we're not. Listen, Semix, nobody's throwing you under the bus, bro. I just said what your point was, which is what both you and James are saying, which is essentially, it's important to move him on and start with a new foundation. And I agree. I agreed with you guys. If you go watch the podcast, I agreed with them that eventually we do need to move on from Bruno. And I even said that this summer is going to be the time he does it, because otherwise he doesn't come out with these quotes, right? And Ineos is very much a private equity type of think tank, which wants to be efficient with their wage structure and all that. So there's multiple reasons to get rid of Bruno this summer, especially with the 60 million coming in and the 300K going out. So there's no argument that he needs to be moved on. But I am allowed to express concern that if we do let Bruno go, what is it going to look like?
I think I'm like Beetlejuice because I said too many nice things about Bruno, and Nelson's like, I got to get on. I need to get on right now. That's too many nice things.
I think me, you, and Vinny have all said too many nice things for Nelson. I will say, where do people think, if we took Bruno out of the squad right now, I think we're like a 12th, 13th place level team, maybe. Curious what other people think, where we would be reasonably positioned without him.
And it's always hard to say those types of things because it's you don't just it's not a vacuum type of argument, because you'll replace him with something, and with football sometimes you plug in something and it works and sometimes it doesn't. So you could technically put something in and you can technically what if Kobe's there and he does well? That's a great possibility.
If we take Kobe out of this, if we take Bruno out of this team, we probably concede fewer goals, but we also score fewer goals. And with that sort of a record, I don't know, we could be like Palace, right, who scored less but also conceded less. So we could be fourth, but we could also be like Newcastle, who are on 8th or 9th or wherever they are. So you don't know how the chips would have fallen. Just like you said that Kobe would have covered up the gaps. I think it would be unfair to expect Kobe to plug these gaps, like, give 12 goal contributions when he's not done that in half a season ever in his career, right? It would be unfair to put that sort of pressure on him. So that argument you made is a very valid argument, but it also cuts both ways, right?
But I mean, are we placing the entire defensive deficiencies on Bruno?
No, not at all. But you do agree that if there was a player who was more defensively solid, who would not give us the output that Bruno does, we would probably concede a couple of goals less or 3 goals less, and those could have gotten us some wins or draws in the games that we lost. But at the same time, the games that we did win, we probably wouldn't have won those without Bruno's goal contributions. So all I'm saying is that argument cuts both ways. Like you said, that you don't know how the alternative to Bruno would have done. You don't know how we would have done without Bruno, right? Like it's
but here's
Bruno
here's
is
my,
so Bruno is so. Now let me bring this up. Bruno is so integral, just as Paul Scholes was integral to Sir Alex Ferguson. Scholes had to be brought out of retirement to play against Man City. At that time, we had midfielders. I think we had Cleverly. We had some okay midfielders, right? But we had to bring out Paul Scholes for his qualities to come and actually help us out during that season. So we cannot discard the contribution of Bruno. Sorry.
So Rishi, I think what I hear from your argument is that you would like the team to be better defensively because our goals are fine, but defensively we have a lot of holes. So in order to do that, wouldn't you look to replace somebody like Casemiro for a better defensive replacement rather than replacing Bruno?
But Nightwing, no, that is the incorrect mischaracterization of what I said. I said that if you replace Bruno, you probably become more solid defensively, but you also score fewer goals. And because of that, we could be higher in the table or lower in the table,
Okay,
right? The
that's fair.
games where we conceded the one, or where we lost to Everton, maybe Bruno does a better job, or Bruno's alternative does a better job of tracking back and getting that tackle in on Dewsbury Hall, right? Or
Rishi.
whatever. I don't want to go into like specifics, but that argument of
Well,
having Bruno cuts
I,
both
I won't
ways,
go
that
into a
having more
specific though.
defensive solidity,
Rishi, I will go into
having more
specific though.
defensive solidity.
The Wolves goal, everyone immediately blamed Bruno because he was in the picture. He was around the guy who scored the goal. And no one saw that Ahmad stopped running, tracking back his guy who got the cross in. So Bruno gets the blame immediately. And that's fine. He's the captain. He can get the blame and he's around the goal scorer. But defense, at least, yeah, you know, you guys probably know way more about football than I do. And I've said many times, I only started in 2012. But I get deep into these things where I try to read as much as I can. But he'll get the blame for those types of goals. But there's the defense is a team game, right? Especially on the back three, back five.
Even Nightwing, to your point, the Fulham goal, right, where like Bruno lost his runner, Dallo doesn't stop the cross. Doesn't stop the cross, right? He gets lost defensively, and that's what creates the chance in the first place. So I think the point isn't to single Bruno out. The point is rather to say that after Dallo makes that mistake, right? Because from a coaching perspective, when you're talking to your team, you can't just be like, oh, Dallo made the first mistake, so nothing else counts. You have to look at it as like, okay, Dallo made his mistake, but you still had to track the runner. So same as for the Wolves goal, if Ahmad doesn't stop the cross, we still need the other players to do their job. So I think that's the way that I just look at it. Anyways, with Bruno, I think we're mostly aligned. Let me just hear from Nelson before we wrap this up. Nelson, how you feeling?
It's interesting that we, for all the good things that Bruno's done, let's be honest, he's 31. He should have left already, in my opinion. If you have 100 million provided for a 31-year-old, you should take it. Every good team takes it. The fact that I actually like the fact that Ineos did think about it and went, maybe we should take this and replace him.
But we're not a good team, right, Nelson?
Well, we're not a good management, in my opinion. I still haven't seen enough from Ineos to give me enough evidence. I've seen more evidence that they're poor than they are good. So I'll wait. That's a different discussion. I think Bruno should go because one of the things, like basketball has better stats, in my opinion, more advanced stats than football. I wish we get more data.
Also, the style of game is a lot easier to understand basketball.
But yes, there's an advanced stat called usage rate, which I know some people use for football. And with me, Bruno is one of those high usage rate players where everything goes through him. You see it. You see players, instead of making the
James Harden.
Yeah, James Harden's the best example. Instead of passing, instead of making the cross, making the chance yourself, you see players look at Bruno and pass it to him. You actually said, Andy, you had said this, when Ronaldo came in, you saw how much that impacted Bruno. Because instead of Bruno making better chances, he always conceded to passing it to Ronaldo. And we struggle because of this. My reason why
everyone was doing it also. Like I remember that game where we won like 3-2 or something, or 3-0, and we were all trying to pass to Ronaldo instead of trying to score the goals. It was Rashford and Martial trying to pass to Ronaldo. Yeah.
But that's the issue of, here's my thing about Bruno. I think we are going to get worse once Bruno leaves. There's no question. We'll get worse, but worse is relative. We might get worse attacking, but get a lot better defensively. Because one of the things that Nightwing is saying about that Wolves goal is every team knows this. Bruno is a terrible trigger presser. He starts the run way before the team is set up. And everyone knows this. They actually bait him into making that initial trigger press, and then they pass around him. If you get a better guy, let's say Edison, Wharton, Anderson, these guys we've been noticing who have better defensive stats, you wouldn't see that more often. And so, yes, we would be better defensively, but a lot worse offensively. But again, we still don't know that, because if we bring in a better left wing back or a better, some other chance creator, you'd see a more balanced team. When Mesut Ozil left Arsenal, they had a small dip, and then they immediately caught up again. And right now, Arsenal don't even create a lot of chances. They're higher than us just because of their defensive solidity. So it just depends on which way we replace him. That's how I see it. So I don't see that. Oh, sorry, go on.
You're going to be shocked here, Nelson. Ready?
Mhm.
I agree with you. If a team gets 100 million, they should probably take it. Doesn't mean Bruno has to take it, right? If you're Bruno Fernandes, who thinks he's still pretty damn good and wants to be in the Champions League and win a title there, he doesn't have to go to Saudi. He knows it's a lower league. He can say no, right? Would you have said no if you're in Bruno's spot?
For 100 million and the bag I'm going to get in Saudi, I'm going.
He's going to get that bag in 2 years. He's going to get that bag in 2 years.
God, there's no. I'm the worst player. I would have taken it immediately. I'm on. What was his name? The guy who left. Was it Brentford or Crystal Palace? Duran, the guy who left.
Oh yeah, John Duran. Yeah,
John Duran. I'd be in John Duran settings immediately. You give me.
Or even worse, who's that Spanish 20-year-old midfielder that went there?
Oh yeah. Oh,
the Spanish midfielder that went from La Liga.
Vega?
Yeah, so that's my fault for asking the question.
Yeah.
That's my fault for asking the question that way. But I think Bruno has the right to say no. I think it's pretty clear he wants to go someplace else, and that's fine. I completely agree with you. If we got 100 million and the player wanted to go, they should have pulled off on that for sure. Bruno doesn't want to go.
There's a big question here which no one's really thinking about right now. We say that Ugarte isn't good enough to play in this league or this team. Casemiro's losing his legs. He's the highest paid player. He's probably gone. Menu looks like he wants to get out of here tomorrow. And we are ready to sell Bruno. We are talking about 4 new midfielders. And not only do they have to be high quality midfielders who are capable of playing here, and the midfield budget itself is going to be like 200 million if we do that, right? And we have like 4 other positions we need to strengthen. We need centre back, we need left wing back, we need a versatile forward who can rotate with Cunha, Mount, and Cunha, Sheshko, and Mbumo, right? Now, if we have to sign 4 midfielders, A, how do we bring the money for that? And B, what is that going to do to the balance of the squad? Because we've seen what's happened with Liverpool, right? They signed like 5 or 6 or 7 new starters and it threw the whole squad out for whack. And now the whole position, which has no chemistry with themselves or even with people in front of them or behind them, they're going to have to learn this system all over because there's not any ready replacements available. I guess Wharton is the only ready replacement because he plays in a back 3, right? So maybe that logic can be applied.
Edison does too. Edison from Atalanta.
Edison could come here in January. So this whole transition.
But I've got a question. Don't you think, Rishi, that we currently, as good as Bruno and Casemiro are, the problem we have with all our 4 midfielders is there's an imbalance in our midfield. So if if all 4, let's make the argument. Casemiro goes, Bruno goes, Ugarte goes, and Kobe goes. I genuinely do believe you can bring in 4 midfielders with you already know that their balance, their chemistry would be a lot easier to replace. Because the problem is we don't have defensive midfielders who have legs and can pass, or a combination of different factors. We only have Casemiro who can cover ground, or Bruno who can really create, but we don't have any in between. So I don't mind our whole midfield going.
Guys, may I propose something else? Would you agree that out of the 4 midfielders that we have, Bruno's the best one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Easy, right? Yeah. He's probably the best player in the squad, right? Mm-hmm. Is there a case to be made? Yeah, sure. Europe, on the planet, sure. Robert's here as well. He wants to let us know he's here. So, isn't there a case to be made that the team gets better by improving the players around Bruno instead of trying to replace Bruno? Because you said it yourself, Nelson, we get someone like Anderson in and we improve the left wing back role. Why not just improve the left wing back, keep Bruno, improve the player next to Bruno, and then get a couple more squad players as well to rotate into the midfield, and the rest of the team gets improved as a result? Because Bruno right now only costs us 15 million a season. That's his wage bill. His amortization is paid off.
Yeah. The only reason I would say no is because I think Bruno still provides an imbalance to this team as it stands. As good as he is running, I don't think he's good defensively at all. Even his numbers look good, but I don't think he actually helps us defensively. If you were saying you were going to play him as a 10 and we're bringing in 2 new central midfielders. 100% agree with you. I don't mind him in the squad, but again, are we going? When is his contract ending? Do we know?
27 with
2027
an option
with
for
extra
another year.
one, yeah.
So possible 3 years. The issue you have is this is the only time we can cash in on him. That's my concern. We've really struggled with selling players, and I think we should sell one of our. I see it as if we're doing this rebuild, half of the, not even half, almost every single player we have now will not exist when we become a good team. So that means you make these really hard decisions right now where you get rid of
But
the guys.
Nelson, the point is, if you're in a tight spot and you have to sell something, you would rather sell your laptop than your kidney, right?
Yeah. But the problem is there's no market for there's no market for your laptop. That's the issue. Everyone's got a laptop. No one wants Casemiro. No one wants Ugarte. Well, maybe a few people want Ugarte. The only two people guys want from us is Mainu and Bruno.
No, but Nelson, in previous seasons, maybe you would have had a point, but we did this SCR episode of the Stat Padders podcast, right? And we saw that there's a lot of money to spend. We could sign probably 300 million worth of players in the next summer. If that's the case, we don't, and that was before we even sold any players, okay? So if we want to offload and we get, say, a 20-25 for Ugarte, and we get even a reduced price sale for a Menu, maybe a 40, you're already adding 65 million to a kitty, which is like 314 million. So it's not like we are in that desperate situation where we need to sell our kidney. That's all I'm saying. And you would have had you make a good point, but we are not in that situation. We still have that SCR cap remaining, because not only are we at 57% of the cap right now, the limit is 70%. Next season with Europe, we would make probably 200 million more with TV rights and depending on where we finish in the Champions League.
Richie, are you referencing that that's the cash flows we have in terms of being able to acquire players, or is that just regular cash flow for running the business?
No, it's room. It's room.
It's room.
That's how much we can spend. It doesn't mean we have the cash flow.
That's my point. Is from all the conversations we hear from Ineos, is that we're cash flow poor at the moment. We have multiple ways to gain revenue, but cash flow is actually our problem. So the only way I see other teams do it is you sell your good player, get some money.
So Nelson, here's the thing, right? You said there's a market for both Bruno and Mainu, correct?
Yeah.
Selling both Bruno and Mainu probably gets you the same amount of money in terms of PSR, SCR, whatever, because Mainu is a youth player, so it's pure profit, and Bruno's amortization has also been accounted for already. It's only amortized over 5 years, right? So both of them can effectively generate the same amount of funds. Now, my question is, does the squad get better right now, right here, right now, not based on potential, if we sell Mainu or if we sell Bruno? That's the question, right? And I think also Casemiro.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bruno, Kobe or Bruno. And then Casemiro, his wages are going to be off the books, right? That's 400K or something like that, 20 million a year. So what we're looking at essentially is, can we just sell two of our midfielders? Because I still think Ugarte is a mistake we've already made, and trying to sell Ugarte and Mainu and letting Casemiro go, and we're talking about Bruno, it's just suicide to let four midfielders go in the same window. So I think we're going to sell two midfielders is my guess. Now, if Casemiro is going to go by default, the question really becomes, are you going to sell Bruno or are you going to sell Mainu?
Wait, sorry. Is Casemiro's contract running out this summer? I thought it runs out next
He has
year.
He has an option for another year. But I doubt Ratcliffe extends.
They're not going to trigger it. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so if Casemiro is leaving, then yeah, there's no point in getting Bruno out immediately then. Because I assumed we still had Bruno for next year. Casemiro for next year. I thought that's
we're not going to, because they don't like his wage. And honestly, if you're going to ask me who would we rather keep between those two, I would rather keep Bruno, right? But then the question still stands, which is like, how else are you going to improve the team? Because that's the real question, right? I don't think any of us cares if we just did like a FIFA career mode, transfer mode, where we're just like, yeah, you know what, get rid of Bruno, bring in Jude Bellingham, like be cool with suggesting, bring in all the players that we want in one window and let's just move, right? Like, obviously that would be great. But the question is, like, how do they replace him across the team? And that's the concern. But Robert, you've stayed quiet for too long. We can't have you oppressed like this. What are your thoughts?
So, when it comes to Bruno, I've been vocal about Bruno leaving this team since 23-24 season. So, for me, what I think about replacing Bruno is that it should happen, but it's going to be such an uncomfortable truth to face, and it will hurt a lot of people. And also, as I view it, and as I've always viewed it since Ineos started their rebuild, I've always said that we are going to face some casualties, players who are good enough to play for us, but who are not good enough as per se to be with us at the time of the rebuild happening. Because if you look at Bruno, I'll be honest. First of all, the things that make me want Bruno to leave is that he's never been he's never really played for a team that is well structured. Sometimes I fear that he can't do that. And I'd be like, no, he can actually do that because that's what good players do. And then it's really such a difficult matter when it comes to replacing Bruno because he's such a good player that you just can't replace him once and be like, this is a player that is fit to replace him because he's also a personality behind the scenes. And just as you guys have said, you can't do the FIFA career mode thing where you're like, sell this guy, buy two others who are going to do what he was doing. You don't do the same. And so you'll have to find a way to replace what he is in behind the scenes. But also, I think you have just to take the step and you'll be like, you know what? Damn these things, I'm going to just go ahead and do it because time and time again, people have shown that they can adapt. If you lost Roy Keane and adapted, Brian Robson is this guy. Steve Bruce still adapted. He can adapt again with Bruno leaves. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Sounds good, man. I think that's fair. Be cool. You wanted to say something from before. If you want to give us our parting thoughts, and then we'll end the stream here.
Yeah, I just wanted to say it's not that I don't value Bruno. It's not that I value other players that are not playing instead of Bruno.
I think there's some issue with your audio. It sounds very robotic. It's hard to understand. Maybe some connection issues.
Is it?
Oh, actually, it's fine.
Getting better?
Yeah,
it's fine now?
Getting better. Yeah.
Okay. So my what I was trying to say is that it's not that I don't value Bruno. I do value Bruno. It's not that I value other players that are playing in other teams more than the players that are playing in Manchester United. That's not the question. I said that about Bruno because the shot that he took at the management. That's my only issue with Bruno. Nothing else is at stake in my position. Nothing else. And what I said Jude Bellingham, I could say Musiala, but Musiala has a lot of injury problems. He's an injury-prone player. What I was trying to make a point is that Manchester United should strive for a marquee player to replace Bruno. It doesn't have to be a marquee player playing at midfield. It can be a 10. It can be a midfielder. It can be a center back. It doesn't matter. It has to be a player that is going to lead United forwards. Regarding the Bruno mentality, that has to be the standard in every player of Man United. Bruno shouldn't be, how should I say, Bruno shouldn't be praised by being that. That should be the standard behavior of a player. He's a professional through and through. That should be demanded to every player that is on the first team. And that is the culture shock that Amorim is trying to put in the team. And that is what that was why I was saying, if he concedes in giving Manu the starting 11 in this game, that will be a very far reality. He has to be strong, and those kinds of things shouldn't be allowed. That's all.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's totally fair. I think you're talking about setting the culture right, and nobody's bigger than the club, right? And so whether that's Manu or Bruno, it doesn't matter. And that's probably fair. But guys, we've been live for an hour 45. Robert, I know you only got a few minutes to speak, but we'll have you join again tomorrow if you're available. And you guys as well, man. Thank you so much. You guys are all champs. We still have 100 people watching. Appreciate you guys so much, man. And even the people that watch after the streams are live, you guys are all goats for helping the channel out, and honestly, just contributing to the community. If you guys haven't joined Discord yet, please do so, because we have some great conversations there. We have over 200 people in the Discord community that are constantly just sharing interesting things about United all day. And we'll see you again